Hi there, I'm mikekaess for you today. Star Wars Black Series Clone Commander Bly. Bly. Go ahead and take a look at a picture of him while I read the bio on the back of the box. A veteran of many Clone Wars battles, Clone Commander Bly, clone designation CC 5052, served in the 327th Star Corps on such worlds as Quell, Merindun, and Felucia. Here he is out of the box, and just like the bio says, he served in the 327th Star Corps, which sounds awesome. He's best known as being the clone commander for Jedi Master Aayla Secura, which means he's also best known for being the clone commander that killed Jedi Master Aayla Secura on Felucia. Hooray! As such, he was featured in the movies Revenge of the Sith, also pretty regularly, kind of regularly. He was in the Clone Wars cartoon. I actually don't remember how often, but he was in there. I know that. Moving into the first part of my review, as always, the looks. Does the character look like he does on screen as he does in my hand? Yes, he does. Clones all kind of look the same. That's just how they work. They're wearing the same armor, but they are varied by their color, and Bly being an ARC trooper, he has all the trappings of his station. He has mostly a standard helmet, but it does have the macro binoculars on it. He's got the ARC Trooper shoulder pauldrons. He has the ARC Trooper comma. Since he has the blasters, he's got a belt with the blaster holsters on it. That's pretty much it. Other than that, he's pretty much a standard clone trooper, phase 2, but with the markings of his core on there. They all have their own colors, and his are apparently yellow and brown, or else I'm told that from my wife, since I'm colorblind. Thankfully, Hasbro basically just took that and recreated it very well into my hand. I mean, he looks exactly like he does in the movie, and I'll give him the full point. He looks exactly like he should. Just a quick note here, there's actually a running change on this figure. The first run erroneously is missing a brown stripe on the helmet. There was a quick change to the line, and figures are coming out with the corrected helmet now, where I'm not going to deduct points from this figure because mine doesn't have it. Just keep in mind that early runs of this figure are missing a brown stripe on the front. Moving on to his accessories. What does he come with? What should he have come with? He comes with his DC-15A blaster rifle up here. This is pretty clone standard. Pretty sure this is the blaster he used to actually kill Aayla Secura. So, fun fact there, I guess. Being, a clone trooper that comes with this blaster, this is like maybe the 50th version of this blaster we've had in there. I mean, between all the different named clones and unnamed clones, we've gotten quite a few of these blasters, and I feel like every one of them has had a different level of detail and paint on them. This one happens to be molded in all black plastic with not a lick of paint anywhere on it. Sometimes they have a really nice dry brush finish. Sometimes they have a really nice dry brush finish, wow. Sometimes they have a really nice dry brush finish, like with Commander Fox. Sometimes they're just a weird flat gray plastic, like with Gree. It's just kind of weird how inconsistent Hasbro is with their decor for these blasters. I mean, the molding is the same, and there's a lot of great molding, but the detail is just all over the place, and this one has none. Alternatively, if you don't want him to carry his DC-15A, he could also carry his DC-17 hand blasters. They fit securely in his holsters. They also fit in his hands, mostly. His right hand is molded with a trigger finger to hold the blasters. His left hand, though, is not. It's just molded to hold something without a trigger. This blaster has a trigger on it, so it really makes it awkward for him to hold and look like he's holding a gun. I mean, it's not a problem that's unique to Bly. Rex, Fox, and Wolf all have this problem as well, since they also came with dual blasters. It's just really weird to me that Hasbro doesn't include alternate hands for that reason, or at least two hands that are molded to hold the trigger. I mean, he can still hold his gun even with this trigger finger out a little bit, but it would work better if he had that trigger finger molded onto his left hand. So that's what he comes with. Let's talk about what he doesn't come with. First, a DC-15S blaster. That's just a regular little clone trooper blaster. I feel like he should have come with one as well. Why not throw it in there? But they didn't. As I said before, alternate hands would have been fine, especially one with a molded trigger finger. A blast effect would be cool to make it look like he's actually firing his blasters. But the big one for me, and this is a big one, and this is something they've only done it twice, and I feel like this should be the standard, is there's no actual clone helmet. They did it with Rex. They did it with Wolf. And I get it, those have more, I guess, iconic clone faces, but I mean, you've done it twice. This is basically the same figure you've made a couple times before with a different paint job. Give us a unique clone helmet and a removable helmet there. It's just kind of disappointing, especially when it's a clone we've seen the face for. And Bly's face was shown in the Clone Wars cartoon at least once. So while sure, yeah, he comes with some blasters and that's nice, I do wish he came with just a little bit more. So I'm gonna give him a half point for the accessories. So let's move on to the articulation. How does he move and how does he not move, I guess? That's what we're gonna look at right now. His head moves side to side, not really forward, a little bit up. His arm actually isn't hindered by the armor at all, although it doesn't really swivel all the way around. He has an incredible double jointed elbow, as well as a bicep swivel. He has a swivel at the wrist, as well as a hinge. This wrist hinges this way. He has a torso joint that moves side to side and moves forward that far, back that far. His leg moves forward this far, back. He has an upper thigh swivel, a double jointed knee, hinge at the ankle, as well as a rocker. With this being Commander Bly's widest stance with both his feet flat on the ground. So let's get the main thing out of the way. This is the Rex body, finally. Every other clone trooper has been kind of the standard clone trooper body, which has had very limited elbow articulation. For whatever reason, Hasbro decided to switch back to the Rex body for Bly here, and I couldn't be more happy because the Rex body was fantastic for 2017. It's not bad now, but there are some things that haven't aged well. Number one, the head. It moves around side to side, but it has no back. I guess he also does have a little articulation in the macro binoculars on his helmet, if you want to count that. Next, while the sculpt on the armor does not hinder the arm from moving up this way, which is actually a pretty great feat in it by itself, it is missing the butterfly joints that I feel like any trooper should have, because you can hide that butterfly joint inside the hinge of the arm. And although his arms aren't hindered up and down by the shoulder armor, it is hindered by his pauldrons. He can't go all the way around. Not that people do that. I don't normally just swing my arms around like that, but the fact that he can't, kind of noticeable a little bit. And then lastly, his heels. The armor on the back comes down past his heel, which really stops his heel from moving like this, which is actually weirdly something I've tried to get him to do, and it sucks that he can't. He can move his leg like this, but not like this, and I feel like that's kind of noticeable sometimes. So I can mostly move how I want to. There are a couple of different places where I feel like this mold has started to show its age. I really do wish that Hasbro would come back and tweak it, but I'm gonna give it a 0.75, just docking it a little bit, because overall, it's still a good mold. So let's look at the paint, sculpt, and detail of Commander Bly here, because again, that's kind of where this figure shines. At its essence, he's just a clone trooper body, a phase 2 clone trooper body, and as such, he's basically a blank slate for them just to put paint on, and they did. The helmet is, like I said, mostly a phase 2 clone trooper helmet. He does have the macro binoculars. There's a lot of great paint details and apps all over there with his Star Core colors. The shoulder pauldron is actually unique. It's not just Rex's put on his body, it's a completely new mold. He also has these little kind of pouches that go under his arm and are supposed to tuck into his belt, but as you move it, it comes out all the time. It's not the end of the world, but it is kind of annoying knowing that it's supposed to stay tucked in that little pouch, and it doesn't. The chest and the armor is painted with scuffs and scrapes, with that brown stripe going all down. It's got a lot of great detail. The belt is roughly the same as most other clone trooper belts, especially with the DC-17 holsters. However, this one's a little bit different. He has the yellow on the front, but he also has a little bit extra pizzazz with some kind of strap going from it to each side of the holster with some silver paint detailing on there, and that looks great. His comma is weirdly bland, kind of plain. It's tan, but I feel like every other clone trooper comma has multiple colors on it and looks really nice, whereas Bly's is just kind of bland, and that might be screen accurate. I actually didn't check, forgot to check, but I'm just pointing out that it is a little bland, but it's nice that it's there and it's soft goods like the other ones are. If they'd made it the hard plastic, it would have hindered the leg articulation, so I feel like they made a good choice here. From the legs down, again, it's just standard clone trooper fare here. He's got his thighs painted with yellow with the brown stripes that extend down to his knee pads. And then on the bottom, he's got some more yellow stripes with some dirt to make it look like he's just kind of splashing some mud. That's what he's been doing with his life. So yeah, I mean, Hasbro's done a bang up job with the paint and sculpt on this figure. Hasbro's always really good with this, especially on the clone troopers. So I'm gonna give this the full point. Finally, let's talk about want and availability. Did I want this? And the answer is, I want every named clone trooper in my collection. Actually, I'm gonna amend that. I want every clone trooper in my collection. So yeah, I mean, the clones are like my favorite part of the prequel trilogy and Clone Wars. For being 20 million plus or whatever of the same dude over and over again, they all have unique personalities, unique looks. I absolutely love the whole concept of the Clone Wars. So yeah, of course I want them. In terms of availability, he's number 104 in the main line. Whether or not you can find him in the desolate wasteland that is the outside world right now, that remains to be seen as of the recording of this, which is actually the same 20 minutes after I recorded the last video. I'm recording these all on the same night. I just switched shirts to give you the illusion, but I'm ruining the illusion by talking about this. Anyways, that was stupid. I haven't heard of these guys showing up in stores yet. I bought mine online from Dorkside. You could probably have to buy yours too, but last I saw, most of them are coming out in like May because Bly is so popular, that's just when it comes out. So maybe if you want to risk going out, but I wouldn't recommend it. You're safer inside, not catching any viruses, and you know, breathing and living, and that's always nice. So order what you can online, and I imagine whenever this clears up, we'll come out to shelves filled with toys because no one went to the store to buy them. But that's not true. Scalpers will, and I hope they all catch the virus. I don't see Clone Commander Bly pegwarming anytime soon, so I mean, best of luck finding him, but I found him just fine. I only ordered him like a month and a half ago, so I'm gonna give him the full point for want and availability. He's not exclusive anywhere, and well, yeah, he might be popular. I mean, you could probably find him okay. I don't know. So that brings us to a final score of 4.25 out of 5. He's mostly a fantastic character of a mold that's starting to show its age, but there's a lot to love here, a lot of fantastic details, maybe some accessories that are missing, but nothing to really cry home about. He still gets a mostly fantastic score. Don't let a couple little nitpicks bring him down. If you love the prequels, if you love Clone Troopers, you really owe it to yourself to have Bly on your shelf. And with that, that is my review on Clone Commander Bly. Let me know down in the comments down below what you thought of it. Do you have it? Do you agree with my assessment of it? Do you think my score should have been higher, lower? I love to read and respond to all those comments. I'd also take a moment to thank these people here for supporting me on Patreon at the Black Series level or higher. It means a lot to me, guys. Thank you so much. If you want to check out my Patreon, down in the downstairs area is a link below where you can do that. If Patreon's not your thing, while you're down there, there's a couple different ways that you can help out my channel that are free, up to and including liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting the bell. All that stuff goes to help out the channel. And with that, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for getting this far. And I'll see you later. Bye.